So Jody, can you tell me how long this shop has been here?
Hi, Yummy Co.'s been in the market, I think about 23 years now.
23 years, and how long have you been with it?
25.
25.
We'll be celebrating our 25th anniversary on January 15th, 2026.
Oh, great. So where was your first location then?
In my home.
Oh.
So I started the company by bringing in some old-fashioned candies, making some old-fashioned candies like sponge toffees and brittles, and then taking those to shows. And I soon realized that by putting a lot of the already made old-fashioned candies that are in familiar packaging such as this into different tins and things like that was really becoming quite a thing. So people were asking, well, where can I get a payday? Where can I get your nut rolls after all these shows happened, right? So I said, maybe I think I need to start a business and actually get a storefront. So Yummy Company was born here in the Crossroads, I think about 23 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And what makes it a good fit for you in terms of having your own small business?
Oh, it's fantastic. So I work weekends here at the market, which allows me lots of freedom to work on the business in other aspects of social medias and have time with family and friends Monday to Thursday. So I originally built the business so that my son could take it over and put himself through university. But of course, that didn't happen. By 16, he got a little tired about working in the business. He went and joined the military and is doing a great career there. And I thought, well, I guess I better continue.
Yes.
Continue on. So here I am, 25 years later.
And did you always think you'd have a business?
Oh, I always knew that I would have some kind of business.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what it was going to be until the idea came to me that Calgary, almost 25 years ago, really needed a great candy shop. That's kind of how it all started. My son was quite young, and I wanted to take him to a candy shop. And I couldn't find a candy shop here in Calgary, really, and to bring him into the old-fashioned stuff. Some lady told me I had to go to Banff for that. So I kind of went, no, you don't. So 4 months later, I started the company and went to the shows and fairs and festivals, and it just started blowing up, and it morphed into Yummy Co. here at the market.
And there's quite a selection here. How many different SKUs do you have?
Oh, I would say over 300 old-fashioned SKUs. Yeah.
Yeah. And can you talk a bit about the role that nostalgia plays? I bet you get customers all the time saying, well, I remember this from when I was a kid, and I remember this. So what role does nostalgia play?
If I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
Yeah.
I think people are ready to sort of step out of the seriousness of adulthood and go back into childhood. And I think they can do that here. So people always reminisce about the humbugs their grandfather had in their pocket, or my mom gave us chiclets when we were kids, or the old-fashioned feel of the candies would transport most of my customers into a time and a place in their childhood.
Yes.
And candy, I think, does that. It transports you. So I guess what I always say to my customers is, sure, we've got candy for sale, but it's the memories we actually sell. The candy's secondary to that.
Can you talk about some of the favorites here?
Oh, well, I've whittled this whole store down to 300 favorites.
Yes.
But classic sponge toffee, some of the classic bars that we used to have in Canada freely and can't get so much. It becomes an import now. Some of your U.S. bars and your U.K. bars. So whatchamacallits, paydays, nut rolls, curly whirlies, the old-fashioned Beeman's gum, something as simple as the old-fashioned Kool-Aids. I mean, we just don't get this here in Canada anymore. So it's really, really quite nice to allow people the chance to kind of get old-fashioned favorites, something that evokes a memory, or younger kids trying something new that's always been here for 30, 40, 50 years,
Yeah, I know. I have kids age 6 and 3, and it's always fun letting them try something for the first time that I associate with my childhood. It's fun to
100%. And it's such a pleasure to see the kids come in, and mom or dad will buy them a little pack of Pop Rocks. Well, we always knew that they popped and buzzed in your mouth, but the kids don't know what that is. So it's kind of fun to see the reactions for the first time.
Yes.
So it kind of brings me back to my childhood a little bit too, watching the kids do their thing.
Do you remember some of your favorites from when you were
Oh, yeah. Beeman's gum, sponge toffee, bottle caps, pop rocks, grape knee-high, as far as the drink goes. The old pop shop pops were a place, we would go and pick our own pops or have the pops filled up for us, and then we'd take it off to the cottage, things like that. So those are kind of my favorites. Some of the old chocolate bars too, but mostly the sponge toffees and the Wonka products hold dear to my heart anyway.
Now, this might be a tricky question, but is there something that you carry that you admit you're like, I'm kind of surprised people like this?
Dutch licorice. That salty black licorice.
Yes.
Not my jam, but I sell a ton of it. So a lot of people from Europe love their salty licorice. So we do carry a bunch of that as well. So, yeah.
Does it sometimes happen that someone will ask for something and you're like, oh, and you'll discover it in that way and actually start to carry it?
100%.
Yeah.
We've done that too. Now, the thing is, because our niche is the retro, hard to find old fashions, if it's an old fashioned from another country and they recognize it from their childhood, that's something that I'll concentrate more on than, say, trying to find this new Dubai chocolate that's selling for $30 a bar. Like, I won't go there with the new trendy stuff. But if it's a trending thing on something that's kind of old fashioned, I'll look more into that and see if that fits our store SKUs.
Well, how far back do you have to go for something to be considered old-fashioned?
I think about 25 years. 20 to 25 years. And then that way it's really considered something that's been around for a couple of decades. It's been in someone's childhood. And it's something that evokes memories. So that's really kind of what I try to concentrate on. Is the hard
what about other candies that used to be available that you don't carry because they simply have fallen out of favor, like they aren't popular anymore? There's some that have just gone away.
100%.
Yeah.
So of course the most recent being the cherry blossom from Hershey's. We still have a few left in stock, but I've put them into our some of our boxes and our time capsules. So there is one in there. You can't see it, but so in that way I still have a few of those. Pep Chews is another one. Beech nuts are another one. Bonkers, Punkies. I mean, I know some of your listeners will recognize those names, but there's been so many that are 5-star bars and so on. The Cuban lunch tried to come back and make a comeback, although the name is existing, the recipe wasn't the same, of course. So it's things like that. The rum and butter bar, those things are trying to make their comebacks, but unless it's the real recipe, the original recipe, people kind of, and that's the thing with my customers. If they change the packaging, the recipe might still be the same, but it's a little different from what they remember packaged as a kid. Some of them might just stay clear from it. So I have to educate, my customers a little bit, to encourage them to know it's just repackaged. It's a perfect example might be the sherbet fountain. It came in a paper tube with a black licorice stick sticking out of it. But because that wasn't really considered hygienic, they changed it to a plastic tube with a plastic top, so you can't really get to the product unless you open it up. So people kind of go, it's not the same. I'm going, but it is the same. We just have to change it to the times a little bit.
But it's a good, warning for customers that a warning for companies that if you're going to change your packaging, if your customers are really connected to it for nostalgic reasons, be careful.
Yes.
Because 100%. You may lose a lot of your appeal.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So it's, I guess, my job to convince them that, okay, I've been in the game for almost 25 years now. I've tasted every single piece of product that's in my store, and I can assure you this is the same recipe. They're just trying to capture a younger audience, maybe with a jazzier looking package or graphics or something, right? But and some have changed over the years. Ingredients lists and things change over the years, and some things aren't as approved now as they were back then. A little more stringent on FDA regulations and laws. So some things do and must change, usually for the better. But in most cases, a lot of these products are still, still original. We still have that scented game, still tastes like soap, it says, right on the pack, The mini chiclets and the tiny chiclets from Mexico haven't changed in years, decades. So there's lots of still great things. The Lifesavers rum and butters, still the same great flavors, same great recipes. Packaging might be a little bit different, but that's okay. Most packaging lends to a fresher product inside because the packaging itself has developed over all these years too, right?
Yeah, isn't it true though that sometimes companies will change the recipe a little bit without advertising the fact, but you might start noticing this doesn't taste the way it used to?
Yeah.
Have you ever stopped carrying a product because you thought, this doesn't taste the way my customers will appreciate?
That would be my point in concern with the Cuban lunch and that rum and butter bar.
Yeah.
Although the same name, got the trademark for the name, the recipe just isn't the same. And customers, they know. It just takes one bite and they'll know. So, when you get if you get a little bit of negative feedback from that, of course, it's not something then that because if one person is negative about a product or its taste, there might be 100 more. Alternatively, the same way it goes if one person's asking for something because it's amazing and it fits our niche of being something that's hard to find and old-fashioned, then that's something that I'll start looking into. And we've built the store based on what people are looking for. I know what sells. I've been in the candy business for a long, long time. My grandfather was a master candy maker, so I think it's a bit in my blood. So I know initially what sells and what would do well based on my experiences, and then the rest I just built based on demand.
Right. Can you give examples of any? You get strange questions sometimes from customers?
There's always strange questions.
Any funny examples come to mind?
Oh, what would come to mind? I think people are just really, the strangest question they might think strange is, where can I get that, what's that lozenge? It was round, it was square, it had a flavor to it, it was beige. If you just describe the thing you're looking for, I can pretty much nail it down. But I think they think a strange question might be just, is beech nut? Where can I get beech nut? Where can I get sensen? Why don't you have sensen? Well, sensen hasn't been in production in over 12 years.
Okay.
So I can only produce here what is being still produced on the lines in these plants.
Well, thank you, Jody. It's been really fun talking to you about
Thank you.
your store.
Thank you. Come on down to Yummyco at the Crossroads Market, guys. It's really fun. And we have a lot of small businesses here that are just really true treasures of Calgary that we're also proud of. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.